my name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you live from Sarnia, Ontario. Today, Thursday, May 15th, middle of May, middle of May, not the Ides of March, May. We're in May. Um, Crazy, we got the Ontario budget today and a little still more reaction to the new Carney cabinet, the Canadian government shaping up. I think we talked about it yesterday too. And people still complaining, or not complaining, but razzing the housing minister for commenting on housing prices staying high. And still getting a lot of flack for that. And I don't even know why he bothered commenting. All he had to do is say, deflect it. Because, really, the housing minister doesn't have a huge direct effect on housing prices. You could argue the immigration minister has more. If he cuts the immigration intake into Canada, it would definitely cut demand for housing. Or the finance minister could do all sorts of tax incentives, or the central bank could raise or lower rates, whatever what way affects prices. So he didn't really have to answer. He kind of stepped in it there. Basically the housing minister, all they do is they have to go through the province and the municipality, and they basically just share money to projects. They can do stuff like with the CMHC, but it's more long term. Anyway, I'm sure he'll do his part. That's his name, Gregor Robertson, to screw up housing even more in Canada, regardless if he controls the price or not. He's a pretty boy. Look, he's got the square jaw, perfect hair, nice tan, nice clothes, but maybe he's like a himbo, all looks and no brain. I don't know. He was Vancouver mayor, and last time I checked, Vancouver is not in the best shape. I'm not saying it's his fault, but he didn't fix it. So I don't think he's going to fix the housing situation. So, and then we got so many incompetents in there. It's crazy. It's really the bottom of the barrel, but, let them fail first, and then we can criticize them, I guess. But I have a feeling where Carney is going to be just like Trudeau, but more efficient. So you're not going to see Carney making a fool of himself, shouting Slava Ukraini and just being ridiculed on the global stage and in Canada. Trudeau couldn't even go anywhere without causing a commotion, having people throw stuff at him. So Carney is just going to be none of that. None of that drama it's all gone. He's going to be the banal, boring guy, banker. But he's going to implement the same policies. The only difference is we're not going to be embarrassed of him when he goes to trip somewhere and he doesn't sing at the grand piano and drunk in the hotel lobby on the eve of the Queen's funeral. He won't do that. So I think Canadians will be happy with that, which is not cool. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those Canadians, but I'm just observing. They're going to be happy that he's not doing the stupid stuff. But he's going to still be implementing the same policies. So, and the boomers he's going to keep their houses high, as Gregor says. So, it's going to be smooth sailing for a few years, I think, for this guy, unfortunately. Because in Quebec, I think he'll even work with the Bloc a little, to keep him at bay, give him some nuggets. And the Conservatives, haven't seen any of them. Who have we seen? Pierre did one speech from Ottawa. I don't see anybody from the Conservatives that striking any fear in anybody, causing any like offering any real solutions to the country's problems. So we got years of a more efficient globalist government under Carney instead of Trudeau, plus a lack of basically no real opposition either, a feckless opposition. So we got a few years, like I think 3-4 years at least of that, and it'll be interesting to see Pierre. Like the support for him is decent now, supposedly, but it'll be interesting to see a year from now if Carney's numbers are good and Pierre's numbers are not, how enthusiastic it'll be to keep him around. Maybe they will. I don't know. I predicted he won't be around for the next election, but I could be wrong, and I'll be the first. Be the first to admit it. And on the other, I don't know, this provincial budget. Yeah, Carney's also is not doing a budget, apparently. I don't know what that means. He said he's going to do an economic statement. So, like I said, he's going to get away with all this as long as he doesn't do stupid stuff to embarrass people like Trudeau was. The boomers were getting a little embarrassed. So, and as long as Carney doesn't do any of that, and he's like but I can see, I don't know, his ministers are all like very undisciplined, it seems. Like, you got obviously Gregor talking about housing prices before he's even sworn in, and then you got, or after, like the minute he's sworn, and then Guilbeault, Stephen Guilbeault, the French, our culture minister. I don't know what the hell he is. But he's the Quebec lieutenant, so he feels like the need to talk about against pipelines whenever. So, like, it's a very rambunctious cabinet. They don't like to. I'm sure Carney will be reading them the Riot Act. But yeah, I think it's going to be a few years of this with like a similar Trudeau policy, immigration. He'll say the right things, like, oh, we're going to cut immigration, this and that. And he very well might, but he's also going to probably, from I've seen what the immigration minister's policies are, they're probably going to give like an amnesty to all the existing people that are here, PR to all of them. Like, so that's like 5 million people right there. So he'll say, oh, yeah, I'll cut the inflow of immigrants, but I'm going to legalize all these ones. Because they ain't deporting nobody. We're not kidding. Let's not kid ourselves here. Whatever millions of people here for like temporary work or student visa, a lot of them are going to end up staying in the long term because you can't deport nobody around here. It's hard. And, nobody has a stomach for it. So they'll just amnesty it, say, oh, they're here already. We'll give them a path to citizenship. That's what they're going to do. And then they'll give their 20 cousins a path to citizenship. That's the way it works, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm predicting now is we're going to have a Carney, more efficiently led globalist government without the embarrassing stuff that Trudeau brought. And yeah, he'll still screw us. So like I didn't talk a lot yesterday about Sean Fraser, who's going to be the Justice Minister, and I think that's the Attorney General. I don't know if that's the same idea. It is, I think, and because I think in the province they call it Attorney General, in the U.S. they call it Attorney General. So anyway, he's a Justice Minister, and he's going to be in charge of. He was the Housing Minister, he was the Immigration Minister. Very liberal on both those portfolios, and now he's the Justice Minister, and he will be the minister in charge of any internet censorship and control bills. And they had one coming up before the Parliament was dissolved. It was the Online Harms Act, and the other Justice Minister was all gung ho about it. And I have no doubt Sean Fraser will be gung ho about it. So it'll be interesting to see how his priorities as Justice Minister. You would think it would be to lock up criminals who are murderers and rapists, but his priority will probably be coming after people who post online. People probably more serious than me, but if that's his priority, then the mask will be lifted. The mask will have fallen, because if he goes and tries to reform the parole system or the bail system for violent offenders, repeat offenders, deportations for criminals, if he goes and concentrates on that, great. As Justice Minister, great. I'll be the first to applaud him. But if he goes and starts doing like the UK bullshit where you get the knock on the door about your Facebook post or your X post, then that's definitely not the right priorities. And, I'd be... To be honest, I don't think Carney will. I think he's seen what's happened in the UK. He's seen the backlash against it, and so I'm not saying he still won't try and censorship. I think he will, but not. I don't think he'll bother with the cops going to the house. I think as a globalist, he'll see that as counterproductive. Maybe, I don't know. But he will try and censor like he could do other things. Lots of different techniques. I don't know, we'll see. How the Europeans are taking Elon to court for his lack of censorship on X. So stuff like that. And still censorship just because the cops ain't coming to your house. So yeah, Sean Fraser will be right on top of that. He loves that kind of stuff, I bet. And so yeah, I think the cabinet's disaster. I don't see anything good in it. The good thing is Bill Blair was gone. That old fossil. You can go have a drink now. The foreign-born health minister's gone. Now it's good. Chrystia Freeland's kind of in the more in the background. She should have been gone. But yeah, I don't see any bright lights. Nothing that inspires me at all. I just see disaster. And whatever. Whatever happens. I don't see any of these guys inspiring confidence, But yeah, I think Carney's just going to do the job and just not be too cringe like Trudeau. And he's going to ride that. Keep the house prices high for the boomers and ride it and build some shacks for the rest of us with the Brookfield Container Company. But yeah. And like I said, I was saying about the provincial budget, I was looking at it. It was a $15 billion deficit and just a bunch of little incentives and little tax breaks to ease the impact of the tariffs and all that. So kind of nothing notable in it. I mean, even 15 billion, it's not really that huge a number. So we're still basically, though, the biggest problem is housing, and it's not really lack of housing. It's the price, and it's not just Toronto or Vancouver. It's even here in Sarnia, maybe not now, maybe things have cooled off, but some at the height, it was getting ridiculous, some of the houses prices. But the rents are a bit high, and and that really comes what it comes down to. People can't afford to live, so I don't really see these guys fixing any of that. And Pierre, like I said, he's like basically invisible. Like I saw a video of him getting out of the car, and like there was like 0 people around. It was like he's just a private citizen, which he is. So it's kind of hard to, become prime minister. It's, but I'm sure he's just taking a break. Anyway, we'll see what's going on here, and then enjoy the rest of the evening. But Carney does good. He lulls you to sleep, or to like he's just like so banal, but not. He's not annoying, but he's banal, just enough to bug to just say, okay, whatever. All right, here we go. Lots of cabinet posts here today. So first of all, why is the culture minister commenting on pipelines? What a goof. So Canadian Culture Minister Stephen Guilbeault says Canada needs to maximize its use of existing pipelines before building more. A day after Prime Minister Carney indicated an openness to new pipeline construction. So, yeah, this guy is such a radical, and I don't know why he's still around, because he was a Trudeau guy, and now he's still stuck around. He's got a promotion in a sense, because he's now the top lieutenant for Quebec, and I'm sure that's the capacity he was speaking in, but he still contradicted his leader, so I don't know why this guy's still around. He's one of the main reasons. Guilbeault is one of the main reasons Alberta wants to leave Canada, is because of this goof. Like, he likes to fly around the world and lecture other people not to use gas, but he's living it up in the meantime. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, we got this guy in government. I have no idea why. Like, what's he bring to the table, this guy? Does he have connections? What is it? So Carney kept him around. That was a big mistake. Next, Gregor. I just like saying Gregor. So I don't know a lot about housing, but this guy knows. He seems like he's pretty more well-versed in housing. What's he saying? John Passalis. Vision for housing in Canada, shut the next generation out of home ownership to protect the insane gains owners made during the boom. Make subsidized social housing the only option for the next generation. Is it any wonder why so many people want to leave Canada? Yeah, it's bad. So basically they're saying, unless you're lucky enough to have like a rich parent or someone who you inherited a home, grandparent gave you the house, if you're one of those lucky people, great. Otherwise, you're going to live in a little shack, government shack, by the water. Or not even by the water. By the on the other end of town. So that's what he says about, that's how he's describing basically the the housing minister's strategy for Canadian housing. And then the next one. Yeah, the Leafs disappoint again. At least they're consistent. All right. So this is some comments on the cabinet. So first of all, no 2025 budget. I was saying about the finance minister, Champagne. I call him he's like the Munchkin from Wizard of Oz. He's got the little Munchkin voice. He's the finance minister, but it's pretty obvious that Mark Carney's the real finance minister. So Mark Carney didn't want a budget. He's going to do a statement. Minister of AI, we said it yesterday, Evan Solomon. Carney's our dealer. And now housing prices don't need to come down from their housing minister. No progress on tariffs. And so, yeah, it's a chaotic start to Carney's first week. And there's a cartoon showing all the all the cabinet ministers on a different page than the prime minister. So, all right, and it's the next post here. Anarchy in the GTA. This is crazy. 5 Scarborough teenagers arrested for double stabbing of 2 15-year-old boys at a local bus stop. That's crazy. I wonder if they're dead. I think they survived. These are like boys. These aren't like hardened criminals. 5 Scarborough teenagers. That's crazy. Anarchy. And there's Gregor. New housing minister says supply not cost. Root of Canada's real estate crisis. Yeah. He really stepped on it. And I like this. There's 32,000 condos for sale in Toronto. It's the cost. Yes. Oh, we're screwed with these guys. Again, John Pasalis. Carney's housing vision is the same as Trudeau's. There you go. That's exactly what I said. Everything's going to be the same. Everything. The only difference is Carney's not going to sing on the piano and get drunk and act like a dummy. That's everything else can be the same. Next post here, Pierre. The Toronto Maple Leafs are pulling a Polyev. Yeah, we're making fun of Polyev. We're making fun of Pierre for being like the Leafs, choking like the Leafs, and now the Leafs are choking like Pierre. Oh well. It's all right. It's only a game. There's Gregor. Let's see. When asked if housing prices need to go down, new housing minister Gregor Robertson. Gregor. This is what he said. Let's see what he says.
That's where the big need is right now. Affordable housing.
Do you think
Delivering
prices
that.
need to go down?
No, I think that we need to deliver more supply, make sure the market is stable. It's a huge part of our economy. We need to be delivering more affordable housing. The government of Canada has not been building affordable housing since the 90s, and we've created a huge shortage across Canada. That's where the big need is right now, and I'm very encouraged that the Prime Minister and our commitment right now in government is the double construction and focus on the affordable side.
How realistic do you think?
Affordable housing.
Do you think
Delivering
prices
that.
need to go down?
So that's what I said.
No, I think that we need to deliver more supply, make sure the market is stable.
So basically, he's basically admitting on the first hour, that they have no plans to make housing affordable, or they're going to build you a unit, and if you can live in the unit for that, and you can be thankful for that little container. Next post. Gregor again. Here's what our new housing minister is doubling down on. If you're not privileged enough to already be part of the landed aristocracy, didn't buy a house 20 years ago, or don't have access to the bank of mom and dad, you're just going to have to rent for the rest of your life. Yeah. That's what they're basically telling people, like especially younger people, young couples, young families. Okay. Yeah, this guy ain't gonna build nothing. Ron Butler, another real estate guy. Federal housing minister says no to any reduction in house prices in Canada. Only rational response is what WTF, what is going on here? Canada has some of the highest house prices on earth. Canadians 35 and younger see home ownership rates plunging. High home prices are spreading. The price of homes in small city Fredericton, New Brunswick has risen 85% in 5 years. Same in Sarnia. It's the same everywhere. It's different if it was only in Toronto or Vancouver or Calgary and that's it. But it's everywhere. So something's not adding up. All right. So yeah, the government itself will house prices must not fall, values must remain in place, and the focus of the federal government is affordable, subsidized rental housing. And of course, for all the millions of immigrants need a place to live. Government itself will build this subsidized housing because we all know how good government is at building stuff. Is government built subsidized rental housing what the Canadian public really wants? No. They want decent priced housing and not have to compete with mass migration for housing. So, yeah, housing, it seems like it's going to be one of those things that if they don't address it, something will happen. Like they risk ignoring it at their peril, let's just say, like the housing issue in Canada. But I don't see them doing anything. Like their solution is to build a bunch of container houses. Here's another post. New housing minister turned Vancouver into one of the most unaffordable housing markets in the world, and he's bragging about his housing record. If you think Libs are going to solve the housing crisis, I have oceanfront property in Saskatchewan to sell you. So yeah, Vancouver's a mess. I think Vancouver's like some of the highest real estate in the world. Look at this guy. Clueless housing minister. But just Jim. This autocorrect on X is horrible. Not just him though. The whole government in Canada is screwed. Oh, I gotta get rid of this. It's too many typos. Okay, next post. This is an interesting thing. In the UK, Keir Starmer's apparently is total crazy anti-immigrant now. A prime minister. He's saying about UK's ending open borders immigration. And it's not because he's had this change of heart, because he's seen this Reform Party is gaining huge in the polls. Like they're even saying they could form the next government. Conservative Party is gone, and he's just trying to lie his way to get the votes by saying anti-immigrant policies. So like Reform's kind of like their PPC, more successful version of PPC. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects Mark Carney's immigration rhetoric and policies. But we'll see. I don't know. I think they have a more direct hold on us here than they did in the UK. I don't know. All right. So here's Jeremy McKenzie talking about the Justice Minister. Non-citizens getting bail for incredibly dangerous and violent offenses, while white guys like myself being denied bail for offenses that didn't even occur. It's just Canada being Canada. Maybe I should try terrorism after all. It's apparently not even that big of a deal. So he's talking about this Yemeni man out in bail under house arrest despite being arrested for attempting to join a Middle Eastern terrorist organization, of course. But yeah, heaven forbid, they go after the trucker convoy people or anybody else for the COVID BS. So we'll see if Sean Fraser's focus. That's why I said we have Sean Fraser as Justice Minister, who is a failure as Housing and Immigration Minister. We'll see if Fraser will be itching to send police to people's homes for posting offensive memes, while thugs get out on bail. Yeah, that's. I want to see what his first priority is as Justice Minister. If it's going to be the criminals or is it going to be the shit posters. Next post here. This one is a comedian in Toronto who says he's gonna, if he sees the mob hitting a jewelry store in the mall like you see on those videos, that he's not gonna just stand by. He's gonna do something. I don't know if that's a good idea, but sounds like could be fun. I mean, what's the use in sitting around if society's gonna go in the toilet? You might as well try something. So let's see what he says here. A lot of people would say, "Oh, don't do anything." Oh, I like his attitude though.
That guy, I'm gonna make sure. So I'm seeing this video of these kids robbing this jewelry store, and people are just taking film of it. I'm here. I don't care if I have my wife and kid with me. If I see that happening, the last one, I'm gonna pick him off, snap his arm like Steven Seagal and mark for death, and make sure that he gets arrested. So this is a message to all you little punks. I may be a comedian, but I'm very good at kicking ass. So you better pray I'm not in the mall while you guys do that, or else I guarantee you're gonna have a broken arm or you're going to jail. All these people filming, I'm not that guy. I'm gonna make sure that you go to jail.
Have you been in jail?
So I don't know if it's like a good idea. Regardless, it's just kind of, this is the frustration people are going to start feeling if these smash and grabs can just keep on going. Like in the States, it's a big thing where they get like 50 kids to the mall. And they just mob the stores, and the stores are like shutting their shutters as soon as they see them. And now like malls, there's like McDonald's and malls, certain malls in the States that won't let kids under 18 in without an adult. So they're carding you at the mall. They're carding you at the mall. So that might come here too. Who knows? I mean, basically they're going to say, under a certain age, you have to have an adult with you, I guess. I mean, that's all they can do. That's the best thing to do, you'd think. I don't think this is the best idea, because I don't want to get shot over a piece of jewelry. But at the same time, I don't want to see society collapse in front of me. We'll see. It could easily happen here in Sarnia. Easily. Our mall, very soft. Hit some jewelry stores there. Next post. Brazil's President Lula praises Trump for trying to end wars in contrast to Biden. I think the decision Trump is making about war is important, praising him for saying, "I want to end the war." By contrast, our friend Biden spoke of war and destroying Russia every day. So that's good. I was talking about Trump's speech yesterday where he talked about changing the policy of like military intervention. That's been like U.S. policy for decades. And I thought, well, he's not going to bomb Iran if he's talking like that. So it's hard to know with Trump. But Lula doesn't think, the Brazilian president doesn't seem to think. They're opposite on the. He's more of a left-wing guy, but he seems to think Trump is not planning on it, by judging by these comments. So that's good. Lots of posts on Gregor's. Lots of reaction to Gregor. I don't want a rental shoebox. I want to be able to own a modest house and a modest income, you idiot. She's talking about Gregor Robertson. Social housing. He's all about the affordable housing, you know. He's like, go live in public housing if you can't afford to buy a house. What a little, oh God, these liberals. All right, next post. Look at this. Man, 78 charged after allegedly sexually assaulting girl repeatedly at Brampton Park. That's horrible. Look at this guy. 78. Is he, like, how, what's his status? Like, if they brought him over here as like a family member, that's ridiculous. Because like, you know what the hospital bills for this guy is? Now the legal bills? Holy shit. I think they said there might be others. Who knows? What's he do? Hang out at the park? Oh my God. And yes, his name is Singh. Apparently. Alright. More Gregor. Canada's new housing minister doesn't think prices need to come down. What a dummy, though. He really didn't even need to answer that question. He could have just talked about housing. He could have just not answered the question, but it's going to be just a litany of failures from these guys. But they don't care. Like, they just want a few years to implement. They don't care if Canadians feel better after. Chris Selly, he kind of summed up my feelings here. Chris Selly is a columnist for the National Post. So, okay. They kind of read my mind. I think, is that guy or girl? Whatever, man. Read my mind. I agreed with the post. It's like, as craptacular as the Carney era has been thus far, I can see him serving as long as J. Trudeau, maybe longer. I don't think so. I don't think Carney would want to stay more than 10 years. I don't even think he'd want to stay tenure, but I could see him staying a few years. As impressive as Poilievre's support is, he's the wrong guy, not a judgment, just a fact. So, yeah, Selly's kind of agrees, saying the same thing I am about Pierre. Like, he doesn't see him sticking around as the leader. Doesn't see him as doing the job, getting over the finish line. So it's like, yeah, I agree with that. Like, about Carney, it's lasting a few years, and Pierre not lasting as leader. Like, we'll see if that happens. Because people think, oh, there's going to be an election in a year and a half. No, I think it's going to be like 3-4 years minimum. Well, the minimum. But it's not going to be quick. And next. Last one. Before we go. I thought this was interesting, Theo Vaughn, because there's all this... Let's talk about the woke right, which I'm just trying to ignore it. But the idea is, usually if you hate Israel or hate Jews, you're part of the woke right. Fair enough, I suppose. But they usually tend to expand that into criticism of Israel. And, you know, it's kind of like a broad stroke. So Theo Von he's got a big following, and he's been more and more vocal about Israel and this treatment of Palestinians, especially children and babies. And like, he's pretty popular. I think Barron Trump even listens to him. So he might get included on the woke right list. I was joking, but let's see what he says here. It's like, hopefully they don't try and cancel him. But
our country's also complicit in
a lot of kids,
you know, it's
and this is what the kind of the AIPAC and the lobby are worried about is a lot of young guys listen to this Theo Von, and they listen to not just like Andrew Tate and all those weird guys. They listen to Theo Von. They listen to Rogan. They listen to like the ones that you can't really control, like the pro-Israel message that like the Daily Wire and the other, like the Prager and all them sell. So, and Fox News, like Fox News has been all nothing but pro-Israel propaganda since Trump got elected. It's crazy. I can't even watch it. Anyway, the fact that a popular podcaster like this is speaking like so critical of Israel, plus the Kanye song, I don't know how big that song will be, like, but it's pretty funny, like that he's really poking him with that song. So they gotta be worried that the young people aren't buying the message of like, oh, Palestinians aren't real people who bomb the hell out of them, or they're all terrorists or whatever. So let's see what he says.
Genocide that's happening while we're alive here in front of our lives. People like putting their kids back together, probably like, you know, one of the sickest things that's ever happened. And I'm sorry if I've kind of haven't said about it. I've tried to talk about it and learn about it. I just wanted to say something. I don't even know what to do. You know, and it's crazy because our country's also complicit in it. You know, it's in it and has been for a long time. And it's just kind of interesting because then you just realize, oh, well, I'm a member of this country, but I'm just, what we want sometimes doesn't matter. Yeah. So just praying for those people and just the grief that is all going to cause. You notice, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying this since the 90s, though, so I'm not one of those. But yeah, a lot of people echoing those thoughts. So that's it for tonight. We'll see where it all goes. I'll be back on what day? Monday the 19th, I think. Yeah, Monday night. So until then, everybody have a nice weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. And we'll talk to you then. Thank you.